if you hear Dave Aiken dating game, you think, oh, I'm going to go out on a date with Dave Aiken. That's not how it is. If he uses a dated reference during this show, for instance, MASH, Bonanza.
That's his go-tos.
Little House on the Prairie.
Mannix. The man from Uncle. This is what he does. Dave, when he's not in here, when he's not studying weather charts, he goes down YouTube rabbit holes.
Oh, right. Big time.
That's right.
And just disappears.
Gunsmoke. The Virginian.
The High Chaparral.
High Chaparral.
And he's always proud of you when somebody else does it, too.
Yeah.
Like I told him, I said, I went down a Don Rickles rabbit hole. Good for you.
Yes.
Rickles, yes.
Here, watch this, watch this, watch this.
A lot of that. I respect it. I like it. I mean,
CPO Sharky.
Yeah.
That's a Dave Aiken dating game.
yeah, that's a Dave. You hear it, it's a Dave Aiken dating game. So a lot of people are asking. Yesterday, during the Big Money Celebrity Match game, a terrific game, by the way, I went into double overtime.
I think this is actually from last week.
Oh, it was last week.
It was from the Pyramid
game.
Games.
Excuse me, Pyramid
But
game.
I'm getting multiple emails. I guess people are listening to it on podcast form or watching the videos on YouTube because the emails are still coming into me.
Yes, and they're saying, does it count that Dave said during a Pyramid game, stick a dime in the jukebox and play your song?
The answer was jukebox. Stick a dime in and it plays a song.
Jukebox. And Dave said, yeah, stick a dime in. I mean, jukeboxes these
They're not a
days.
dime anymore.
No.
Now, it does say it in the song. I used to play the jukebox at Sir Pizza all the time.
That song?
A lot of times I'd play that song. I played, you know how you dislike the Stevie Wonder song?
I just called.
I just called to say I love you. That was the first song I ever played at Sir Pizza. They had built a new Sir Pizza, which is my home. That's my heart, Sir Pizza. And people who from out of state don't know what Sir Pizza is.
Yeah.
You're missing it. I mean, you're missing it. It's phenomenal. And the first time I ever walked into the place after they built the new one in 84, 85, I played I Just Called to Say I Love You by Stevie Wonder on the jukebox.
Who's doing this? Unplug the jukebox.
Oh, so good. And I played a lot of sad songs on there. That's what I would play,
Who's playing Tiffany again?
Used to play a lot of that. Used to play some Billy Vera and the Beaters on there.
Billy Ocean.
I would often bring the room down when I would play my songs. Because my friend Brian Thomas and I, we'd ride our bicycles over. That's how much we loved Sir Pizza.
Just to ruin someone's lunch with your music. Oh, I only get 30 minutes. Who's doing this?
Debbie Gibson, In Your Eyes, and Electric Youth. I used to play a lot from Miss Debbie Gibson. Terrific stuff. Do you know the owner of Sir Pizza just passed away recently?
I just found out.
I didn't know that.
I had found out. We were on vacation, and our friend Christian, he also grew up in my town, in Asheboro, North Carolina, where Sir Pizza is based. And he said, and that man, his name is Scott Burrow, was so nice to me for years and years. He was always working the front counter. You all met him.
I think I met him 20 years ago.
Yes. And he always looked the same, and he's always working the front counter. And he would often, like when my mom passed away, he said, everything was on him. It's just a really good guy.
Yeah.
And I played Little League Baseball with his son, and I was so sad to hear that he had passed away because that's, where I'm from, Sir Pizza
Institution.
Oh, yeah.
It's royalty.
It is the best pizza.
Oh, God, it is so good.
It is worth, to the drive to me.
It is.
Because it is a drive for me, but I would go again. It's delicious.
It's that good.
That's the last thing Biggie left his house for, other than the strip club.
It really is.
Which was a paid gig.
He had contractually had to be there. Exactly. And I think, now I don't, when I watched Scott Burrows, I went online and saw his memorial. They had pictures of him with the grandkids and everything, but they had a lot from Sir Pizza. And they had the logo from Sir Pizza and everything. I said, yes, that's that man's legacy right there in that town. It's good. If I was him, I would have specified that my gravestone should have been a round pizza cut into those little squares because they don't do it traditionally like with a big triangle.
No, square slices.
Little square slices. And then I would want like all my information put in there like they were pizza toppings. God.
Like a degree here, armed services there.
Yeah. Yes. Because he had all those things, by the way. He was that good of a man. I would have put my tombstone, if I were him, I would have left it as, here's what my gravestone should be. One large royal feast cut into those slices with all my...
I want something on each one.
That's right. God. Oh, I will miss him. I hope the quality stays the same because he ran the place like a cop for all those years. Now, by the way, I'm still in a battle.
So I don't know that counts as Dave Aiken dating game.
Oh, I don't either. I don't know that. Diamond a jukebox.
Yeah.
It's close, but I don't think it counts. Because, yes, it is dated, but it's not quite.
Yeah.
It's not like he mentioned CPS.
It's not like you said the Andrews sisters.
Which he will. And
He will.
He has. He'll say that. He might say that today.
You just never know.
Never know where it's coming from. We'll get it.
I know it when I don't know the reference, but Chris Dems laughs. I'm that's an old reference.
Yeah, big time. You know.
Yesterday, he held court on Jack Lord, Steve McGarrett.
He did. From Hawaii 5
for 5 minutes.
He did. He was talking about Hawaii 5
Off air
yesterday. He said, yeah, the creator of Hawaii 5 couldn't stand. He hated Jack Lord. I said, why? Because he's a butthole. Jack Lord was and you don't even know who Jack Lord is.
No.
Jack Lord was the star of Hawaii 5 Dave went off on him in here. He went off on him.
Take that, Jack Lord.
Hey, Jack Lord's been dead 25 years,
Yeah.
but still, he went off on him in here yesterday. Speaking of TV, Gayle King on CBS's morning show yesterday told Dr. Fauci she would not be welcoming any unvaccinated family members to her home for Thanksgiving. She's planning ahead, and she's like, if you're not vaccinated, you're not coming to my house. And she's hosting. And he said, I think that's right. I think that's the good thing to do. I'm in a battle right now with somebody about vaccinations. I made the comment how good I think these vaccines were the other day and got inundated with.
And if memory serves, you don't have to get into this if you don't want to, Kelly, but you also said that rather than doing your usual combative stance,
that's right,
you were going to try to take a page out of your new TV Heroes playbook, Ted Lasso, and try to Ted Lasso these people. Now, I'm not 100% sure I even know how you would do that via email.
It's always positivity. It's always build people up. You try to look at it from a point of view of, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm going to try to see your point of view and then give my points in a calm manner.
That is so foreign to you.
Yeah.
100%.
I mean, 50 years of you. A week and a half of Ted Lasso.
And I'll tell you,
that's right.
I know you're going to give it a shot. You'll give one reply, like a nice reply.
Yes.
Like that's you giving it a shot. But if they come back at you again, then it's on.
It's hard. It's really hard. And I'm trying, and exactly what you've said has happened. I went back, and now he came at me, you liberal, this, that. So I went back at him. This was the one person, because I got multiple emails about this. Like, you don't know what you're talking about when it comes to vaccines. Because really, I just watch on TV, and my own doctor has said, absolutely, get the vaccine, get it for your kids. So I take these positions, and they're like, what about this study and that study, and Johnson & Johnson, and they just crush me. So I came back once at one guy, and then now he has come back at me, and I'm really trying to get my thoughts in line. Because I'm trying to Ted Lasso this thing, and it's not easy.
Yeah. Well, you also want to convince someone to go.
It's hard.
And you're not going to.
No.
I think at this point, people are so set in one way or the other.
Yeah, it's really a futile exercise.
The only thing I find fascinating now is like athletes finding out who's vaccinated and who's not. Like Zach Johnson, the golfer, 2-time, he's pulled out of the British Open because he has the virus.
He does.
Yeah, and he's won the British Open twice.
Yes, he has.
So he was kind of looked at as one of the, I guess, more favorites to win, and he has the virus. He's out. So I'm like, so he wasn't vaccinated. I do find it kind of fascinating with the athletes, who is and who isn't.
And some of them, when they're asked, have been very coy about it.
Yes.
They won't say yes or no.
Especially golfers.
Well, and John Rahm, who just won the U.S. Open, he was on the course, before that tournament and had to come off because he had COVID. Exactly. Well, that's I'm interested in that as well. But you're right. It's a futile thing to try and
at this point, even people I know who I'm friends with, I don't bring it up around them.
Right.
I'm just like, okay, well, you're doing it, taking your own risk.
We remember the president, I don't know if it was last week or even the week before, had said, we may need to go door to door, knocking on doors, asking if people want the shot. Will we see someone shot? Will we see some, anti-vaccine person shooting somebody or pulling a gun on one of these
I don't
people?
think anybody will ever go door to door.
No, actually, the reaction I saw to that was, I dare you. And because I'll be honest, that's what the anti-vaxxers and the anti-government people want, is this government overreach of them coming to your door to try to make you take a vaccine. You will see someone, I believe, yes, you will see a standoff.
This was all covered. This is a Dave Aiken dating game. There's an episode of the Andy Griffith Show from like 1961.
Save it.
Is this Rafe Hollister?
Yeah, Rafe.
Dave just accelerated his gas pedal to try to get here for this conversation.
He's blowing through red lights right now.
Rafe Hollister refused to get some tetanus shot or something, some vaccine.
I can't remember which one it was.
Yeah, and everybody in the county had gotten it except him. And they went out to his house with the county nurse, and he pulled a gun on him.
Yeah.
Give me this vaccine.
It was funny then.
It was. Now
we're living it.
Now we're living it. And
Not so funny.
Rafe's like, we're not giving me the vaccine. Pretty nurse, and Andy and Barney went out there trying, and several times they made the attempt. And then they had to pretend Rafe was dead. And
That's right. They held awake.
they held awake for him. And it's like, oh, he died. That dirty nail got in his foot.
If
I'll
only
miss him.
only he had gotten that vaccine.
Dave will sing "Dig My Grave." Dig my grave. That's an old Andy Griffith reference now. And but that was really the episode. They should show that now to try to convince unvaccinated people to get vaccinated. Maybe that'll be the way to go. I'll tell you something. You talk about Ted Lasso. Chris Demm said today, there's a headline. I don't know if this is real or not, that the Queen's Gambit and Ted Lasso could be battling at the Emmys. And if you ask, which show do I like better? I say, kill myself. I cannot choose.
You can't
I
decide.
cannot choose those shows.
Are you saying Sophie had an easier choice?
I'm saying Sophie. I'm saying Hobson. Any choice you can think of is easier than Ted Lasso, the Queen's Gambit, because they're both phenomenal shows.
Well, one changed your life.
It did.
For the moment.
It did. But
Yeah.
You haven't taken up chess.
not yet.
I mean, you've always perved on young actors.
Yeah.
That didn't change.
Biggie, you've seen both.
I'd have to lean Lasso.
Me too.
Leaning Lasso.
I love the Queen's Gambit. It was great, but I if I had to choose one,
Yeah.
I'd lean Lasso.
I was going to say the same, but I just saw Lasso, so it might be if I'd seen them in reverse order.
Yeah, fresher.
God.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I still think I'd choose Lasso over,
Yeah.
even if I'd watched in the other order.
Loved Gambit. Loved Lasso. Lasso's coming back in 10 days. They do it and they do it week to week.
Well, apparently they're releasing the Emmy nominations in about 2 hours.
But I told Chris Depp, now the headline was Queen's Gambit and Ted Lasso gear up for Emmy nominations. But I don't know how Queen's Gambit can get them. She won last year. They won last year. And it's a limited series. They can come back. There's only one season of that.
Yeah, did they win? She won Emmys last year?
She was nominated because last year, I remember Chris Demm read the nominees, and I said, where's Queen's Gambit? And he said, oh, it's a limited series.
It was way down.
It was way down.
category.
But it was there. So I don't know. If those two are against each other, kill myself.